Funky.
Hey everybody, welcome back behind the bar with me this evening. Tonight we're doing a beer I am stoked to try. I always like to pretend that I can avoid hype train and listening to people talk about beers and things like that. And I try to keep that frame of mind, but what I've been hearing about this beer, I couldn't help but get a hold of some bottles of it. So hopefully it's good because I got more than one. But we are checking out one of the newest beers from Kane Brewing Company. This is Sunday Brunch Imperial Milk Porter with coffee, maple syrup, and cinnamon, clocking in at 9.2%. On the back, Sunday Brunch combines our Imperial Milk Porter with locally roasted Sumatra coffee, Vermont maple syrup, and cinnamon. The dark roast of the coffee and chocolate character of the malt balances perfectly with the residual sweetness of the milk sugars. And a little more there. So I've heard that this beer, so I've had a lot of Kane beers. I've had the Complete A Night to End All Day set, and I've had something else of theirs. I don't remember what. But this beer just got released, and I don't think it was terribly hard to get. Shout out to the openers. Mine will be here soon, ladies and gentlemen. But I've heard this beer is fantastic. I have a good friend of mine that just got some and drank it the other night, and he said it was fantastic. So I tried to avoid the hype train, but who knows. So oddly enough, I decided to pick, since I don't have a Keurig glass, my Morning Delight glass because I don't know, similar beer. So I thought I'd give it a shot in that one. Put it there. So anyways, poured out pretty. It looked pretty thick going in. This baby is pitch black, not even any ruby around the edge. Really carbonated though. I mean, it's got good 2.5 fingers of a really nice mocha cinnamon foam. Some big soapy bubbles in the middle, but really tight bubbles on the outside. I mean, we're also already getting some good alcohol legs and lacing on the glass there. It looks like just an insanely awesome beer. Let's dive in and see what it smells like. Wow. Wow. Big coffee notes. Just kind of a nice roasted coffee smell. Not overly bitter or anything like that. It has a nice sweetness to it from the maple syrup. And I'm even getting a little bit of that just kind of like just nice cinnamon note. Like cinnamon toast, like breadiness, those bready dark roasted malts. But you're definitely in my mind, I'm trying not to do this, but I've heard people do this. Compare this to something like Toppling Glass Morning Delight, which is a similar beer as far as ingredients, except this has cinnamon added to it. This is not as maple forward, although there's a lot of maple there. Wow, even as this is warmed a little more. Big maple note, but it mixes really nice with that roasted coffee, and just a touch of cinnamon. Not picking up any alcohol. This just smells like cinnamon pancakes with maple syrup and a side of coffee. Huge nose, very aromatic, very much that brunch kind of aroma that you get from some of these stouts that, like, I'm trying to think of something like Morning Delight, and actually this is very kind of reminiscent of like Good Morning from Toppling Goliath, or from Sacrilegious from Treehouse. The nose on this beer is amazing. It's definitely more maple forward than what Good Morning is to me, which is a big maple nose, but as I'm smelling this more and more, I'm getting the maple is just coming through in spades. Maple and cinnamon with just a little bit of coffee. And when I first smelled this, when I poured it out, it was just a big coffee nose, but as my nose is kind of adjusting itself, the coffee's kind of taking a back seat to this smells awesome, guys. It smells amazing. A+ on the nose. This is killer, and it looks really good in the glass. It looks really viscous. Looks a little thicker. Let's dive in, see what it tastes like. Hopefully, it doesn't suck. Cheers, guys. Wow. That's really good. Way different than Good Morning, or way different than Morning Delight for sure. Way different than Good Morning, but man, this has like a lingering, just amazing taste. Like, it's still on my tongue. This is fantastic. Oh my god. I love, and there's not many of them out there, especially with coffee in them. I for the most part really don't like non-barrel aged coffee stouts. I'm just not a fan. The coffee comes through too much. It becomes too much like green pepper, fajita, whatever you want to call it, just bitter. It's just not good. I have said nothing about this beer yet. I'm just savoring it. I apologize. First off, mouthfeel. It's thick-ish. It's not toppling Goliath thick, but it's definitely just as thick as like Good Morning from Treehouse. I'm trying to think of beers that aren't like those two, because I know a lot of people that watch haven't had those beers. Like a Bourbon County kind of thickness. It's got about that level of thickness to it. Not even close to thin. When it goes, as soon as you take a drink of this, it is like roasted maple syrup with like cinnamon maple syrup. If they make that, if that's a thing, like maple syrup with cinnamon mixed in it, that is what it tastes like. With the roasted notes of the porter, you can tell that this is a porter. It has a little bit more roastiness on the end, just from the roasted malts, but it's not quite as chocolatey as like a lot of stouts can be. It doesn't have that element. It's more on the roasty side, which is why I really like porters. And you're getting like this creaminess from it. And I don't know if that's like the milk porter aspect of this. If there's like a, if they're using something to bring that element out. Jesus. I will say the cinnamon in this is like almost perfect. It's not like overbearingly cinnamon. If you ever had something like a Braxis, which is like cinnamon and pepper, the cinnamon on that perfectly balances out the pepper in that beer. Where like in those Mexican stouts, Abraxas being one of the best in my opinion, and it really balances out. The cinnamon in this blends in so well with the maple syrup. And that coffee, like there's that coffee roastiness. It's full. It's a full coffee, kind of really full flavor. This beer is not lacking in flavor in any area. It is not. It's full mouthfeel. This is a big beer. I would swear this is actually more than like, what I say, 9.3, 9.7, 9.2% ABV. I would swear this was a bigger beer than that. It tastes bigger, but it doesn't taste boozy at all. It's got oh my god, and it's so flavorful. I can't get over like, I drink IPAs a lot, right? So like when you drink those and they're dry and a lot of them, they just kind of wash across your tongue, you may get a little lingering bitterness and then it's gone. This is not going away. Wow. I'm not saying this is, yeah. We'll get to my thoughts when I get closer to my rating. As far as the rest of this beer, the malt background is there. I mean, you can tell that this is an imperial porter if you've had many of those. There's a roastiness to it. There's those roasty porter elements that I love that are present in this beer. But it goes so well with the coffee and just kind of blends into like a nice coffee. Like the coffee in this beer is not bitter. It is just like a creamy coffee, like roasty explosion. And it goes right into this middle sweetness that the maple is a tad more prevalent on the nose, but I think it's because the cinnamon is so much more forward on the taste that it kind of balances it out and kind of just becomes this creamy cinnamon sweetness, like sugary maple syrup sweetness. The cinnamon being a little bit more dominant than the maple syrup, but Jesus. I think you have to like those flavors in beers to really get into and appreciate this beer. This is different than most stouts. This is not a coffee stout. This is not a like a straight maple stout, or even like there's not a lot of stouts out there with cinnamon. And typically when you see them, they're typically like a Mexican stout would have peppers and things like that. This is not that beer. What it is something that's frigging ridiculous. I don't really know what else to say. See if we agree with the back. Yeah, it just has several layers of flavor and complexity in this full-bodied, remarkably smooth beer, and that is exactly it. It is, like I keep describing, this beer is huge, but it's so smooth and so balanced like nothing like explodes out. Like you drink it and you get this like pop of bitterness that immediately rolls into this like maple cinnamon sweetness with that coffee element just kind of feeding through both of those, and just like this creaminess to it that I'm assuming is from the milk porter aspects of this, with maybe like a lactose or something. And it just kind of blends through and then just finishes, and it just stays like breakfast. It's like I just ate like cinnamon pancakes with maple syrup, and I just took a bite, ate it, and then washed it down with a cup of coffee, but somehow in reverse order, like took a drink of my cup of coffee, cut it up, ate it, and the lingering effect afterwards is that's exactly what just kind of goes through my mouth. And I have crushed this. I didn't want the hype to get to me on this, and I'm going to tell everybody that this beer sucks, because I'll be honest, with as good as this beer is, it's trading for tragically lower. Secondary value on this beer, I don't discuss that stuff typically on this channel, but it's far lower than I think it should be on this beer. This beer is fantastic. And maybe you have to enjoy those elements, though. Like, this is... so I'll be honest with you, I love coconut stouts, and my buddy Chad, who was on one of my previous videos, the Marshmallow Hangy and French Vanilla Militia video, if you watched that, we had a share, and one of the bottles he brought, specifically for me, was a Night to End All Day's coconut. It was the one I hadn't had, and I love coconut stouts. This is a better beer than that. And that beer trades for quite a bit more than this, and that is by far, like, I would rate this well above that. The fact that this isn't barrel aged and you're getting this much complexity and this much smoothness and this much like balanced sweetness from a beer, this is a product of love. And as it's warming, I'll be honest, the coffee's coming out a little bit more. That's not, if you like coffee in your stouts, the coffee is kind of what's starting to come out as it warms up a little more. I had left this out of the fridge for about 20 minutes, which for a 750 it doesn't cool off a lot. But it wasn't in the fridge all day either. I threw it in about 4 o'clock today, left it in there for about 3 hours. So the coffee's kind of coming out, blended into the cinnamon. The maple's kind of fallen just a smidge. So I would drink this a smidge colder and let it warm up so you can really appreciate and experience the full breadth of this beer. I don't know what else to say. I'm actually really struggling with what I'm going to grade this. I think that's why I'm kind of keep talking, because there's a part of me that wants to give this beer 100. There really is. For what it is at 9.3% and Imperial Porter and everything that goes into it, I have never had one better. Of this style of beer and what this is, I have never had a better beer. I just haven't. I mean, there's beers that I like better, like on the stout category, like Morning Delight from Toppling Goliath and Good Morning from Treehouse, which are my pinnacles for stouts. I mean, in my top 15 of last year, they were 1 and 2 basically, or they were top 3, and have been forever. This is not a maple bomb like those beers. This is a kind of a different version. Like, those beers are more maple forward. This combines all the things, and the cinnamon is a big character here, and it just adds this. This isn't as thick and chewy as some of those beers either, so that's kind of one thing that's keeping me from giving it 100. But I'm not even joking. Like, if I was using Dar's rating system, this would be a 99 plus. I think I'm gonna give it a 99, but it's right. It's literally right there, and I think I get a lot of shit for maybe giving too many hundreds and giving beers, but when it comes to my beer reviewing, it's simplistic for me. It is, would I change anything about this beer? And the answer is no, except maybe if you could give it a little bit more body. But the problem is, it still has it's creamy, it's thicker, it's just not chewy. This beer is ridiculous. Carbonation's spot on, and then you take a drink like that, and it's just like freaking maple cinnamon syrup. Like, this beer is awesome. It's awesome, guys. It's right there. Honestly, I'm drinking this entire bottle because I actually skipped dinner to do this. So it's sad from a calorie standpoint because I'm trying to lose this. But fuck me, guys. If you got a bottle of this, drink it. It's killer. I have a couple more. I'm going to age one. I'm going to age them a little bit and just kind of space them out and see what I think. But coffee beers and stuff like that, I typically don't let age very long. And plus, this isn't barrel aged, and I think that tends to fall off a little quicker too. But God, don't trade for this beer. Don't get it. Don't, because I want it all. Fuck. I already drank this entire glass with you on camera. So, round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Here's to life. So, I'll leave it there, guys. I don't know if this was a good review or not. I didn't want to get on the hype train, but this beer is awesome. It's phenomenal. It's world class. It's the best Kane beer I've had. So say what you want about their barrel aged stuff, the Nights and El Dawn set and what it goes for and all those things. I think this is better. That's my personal opinion. Some people will disagree. That's a great thing about beer, and that's a great thing about opinion. They're not fact. So in my opinion, this is a 99 to 100 right there. I'm blown away by this beer. I want more of this beer. I'm trying not to trade very much right now, but I'm probably going to try and get one or two more of these. So, thanks for coming behind the bar. I don't know how many more reviews I'm going to be doing. I have this one and one before it that I still have to post. I'm probably going to record one more before I leave, but then I'm actually going to be on vacation for like a week and a half. So I might save some of these for the week I'm gone, just so I have some content for that week. But then there might be a little lag in there somewhere. But the good news is during that period of time, all of my swag is going to come in. So next video, maybe after this or one more, I'll get to show you guys the glass, and we'll talk about how to order those and the bottle opener and things like that. So I've had quite a few people actually reach out to me. So if you want a bottle opener, let me know, because I've had a ton of people reach out wanting them. They're probably gonna, I'm just being honest, they're probably gonna be around $28 to $30 shipped, just because they're custom and it costs a little more to make. And I have to ship them to you. I'm not trying to make money on this deal for the most part. I really don't. Any profit I do take is going to come right back into giving you guys beer and stuff for the channel. If it's a new camera down the road or whatever that is, or a change of scenery, whatever. That's what it's going to be for. I'm not taking it to make money. I'm not doing this to make money. It's just for this. So, and I'm in a great mood. So I'm dropping the cap, guys. I'm giving it 100. Fuck it. I don't care. This is incredible. So thanks for coming behind the bar, guys. Thanks for the likes, subscribes, comments, and until next time. Cheers.